There we go. All right, let's get this party started. Welcome to the Starting Over Podcast. I'm your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos. And this is a show where we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix, unless I am concerned about Warframe, which you can sort of tell that I am. And I'm just giving away today's show indirectly. It's not about Warframe, just letting you know. What we're going to talk about in today's episode, as I live stream and put technical difficulties that were not intended to be there. Good thing to get Twitch off before I repeat the same mistakes as last week. Don't want that. So I won't be able to look at comments because somebody have to teach me how to do comments on Twitch so that I don't mess with OBS. And get that bad reverb. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this steam that we're getting from Infinity, and take that steam, put it inside of a nice Thomas the Train, and travel the island of Sodor. Now you can tell I have a nephew, and he's young, and yeah. So I've watched enough Thomas the Train. Also, I've watched it as a child, but yeah, not as much as since I've been an adult. But yeah, so let's talk about Cosmic, and then we're going to go and look at Muir Island with the time that we have left. So I'm going to open up some of my viewpoint on Cosmic, and there's really like one or two things that are older that we can sort of think about. But realistically, you know, it's really not an issue. So let's start getting into it. Why are we looking at Cosmic? Again, Infinity's coming out. And so the first thing that we really realistically need to start asking ourselves is this. What is going to change? Like, what realistically is going to change? And this sucker here, this is probably going to be one of the biggest game changers for Worlds, not for Nationals. Unless WizKids does something and offers convention exclusives somewhere in the United States before US Nats. And if they did, may the Lord have mercy upon us. Because Unimind will be unstoppable. Like he just will be. I'm going to also be honest that Nobody even cares about the figure as the figure. It's just like, oh, is he an Eternal? Yeah. And he has Pulse Wave on first click and Running Shot. Oh, yeah. And Prob? Oh, yeah, that just replaces Thena. That just replaces Thena, more than likely. I do see the future where the sideboard is Thanos, and then maybe Makari or something like that. But I don't know. No, not Makari, Cersei. Yeah, Thanos, Cersei, something like that. Anyway, maybe not, considering how much you're trying to bank on that. Oh my gosh, I just got popped, and now my opponent has scored more points than I possibly can score. So there is a risk there, but yeah. All right, so let's just get along with it. So I want us to revisit or to visit some characters that I think that are actually interesting for us to play around with Cosmic theme teams. Like, oh my gosh, Dark Logos is talking about theme teams. Yeah, so we're looking at Cosmic theme teams, and our main function of looking at Cosmic theme teams is that these are the pros or the things that we're going to see more consistently for probably the next 2 to 3 months. Just like how Asgard had its turn and X-Men had its turn. I hate to say it, Cosmic's about to have its turn in a big way. We could say potentially X-Men, but realistically, no. X-Men is going to die down a bit. I mean, sorry, not X-Men. Avengers. I apologize. We could say Avengers because there are a good amount of Avengers in this set. And I would say no because, again, I don't see anything yet. And Lord knows, been wrong about this. That's going to motivate people to play an Avengers team over a Cosmic team for the next few weeks. Definitely, I mean, once the new Infinity War comes out, for the next few months. So, yeah, Avengers Affinity might come out and people might feel really gung-ho after they see Cap die. I'm pretty much sure that's going to happen. Cap's going to die. Yeah. I think that, you know, people get that tear and that tightness in their chest and be like, you know, for Cap. And pour the drink out for him between every round. And Cap's probably going to die every round because I can't think of a Cap that can take a ton of damage that's not like endowed by a hammer or part of the Nova Force or something like that. So as we're going, just bear with me again on the figures because I'm not putting them in degrees of importance, but I'm putting them in, this is probably going to pop up. All right, so for your venues that are properly old school, you always have Golden Age, this, that, and the other. I reintroduced your friend Phoenix Buster Iron Man, the figure that it took a long time for him to find a place in the meta, and it was through an ID card. That Iron Man ID card just made him so good. So good. But Phoenix Buster Iron Man is on... Actually, hold on, wait. Does he have Tony Stark real name? Whatever. I don't know. But Phoenix Buster Iron Man is going to show up for multiple reasons. Number one, if you have any smaller cosmic aspects or cosmic characters, you can carry them because you're giant and also because you fly. But if you also deal with the Colossal, I do believe that the Colossals could potentially carry Phoenix Buster Iron Man. Oh, nope, I don't think so, because or maybe because he's peanut base. I'm not quite sure. I'll take that back. I'm gonna say no right now. If I'm wrong, put a comments below and say if he could be carried by a Colossal. The other thing that I actually like about Phoenix Buster Iron Man is that he starts off with really good stats with 11 attack, 10 range, 5 damage, pulse wave. He is a character that comes back and just starts punishing people at good distances. Then you go and read his trait. Here goes nothing. Phoenix Buster Iron Man attacks deal penetrating damage if the target character is assigned a relic or resource or possesses any of the following. Giant damage symbol. We're going to see a lot of that. Colossal damage symbol. We're going to see a lot of that. Power Cosmic Team ability. Oh yeah! We're going to see a lot of that. And the Cosmic or Phoenix Force keywords. Rest my case. Okay? Or the word Phoenix is in its name as a separate word. Yeah, Phoenix Buster Iron Man. He says, Thanos, gotcha. Okay? I got you. It's on like Donkey Kong, man. And so I really do think, like, if you're playing in a Golden Age, Silver Age venue, this is going to be your go-to figure. And I know some of you would say, like, hey, but Dark Logos, didn't you say Avengers? They weren't going to be anything? Yes, I did, but I don't think they're going to be popular. And I think a lot of people aren't going to be running them. So trying to build anti-Avengers is not a good idea. Okay? All right, let's go on to Skyscraper Wonder Woman. I selected the wrong point value. I wanted to select the Colossal Retaliator. And Skyscraper Wonder Woman is there because I feel that her, more than the Flora Colossal, I know blasphemy, PJ don't hate me, I haven't left the Church of the Floral Colossal. I still believe in it. But I do actually think that more people are going to turn to Skyscraper Wonder Woman to fill out their Cosmic Theme teams, round out those last few points. If you're 20 or 30 points short, you're going to run a Skyscraper Wonder Woman on a Cosmic Team. If you have access to getting a hold of 2 of them, yeah. Like, I've preached on the show multiple times the value of Skyscraper Wonder Woman, so I don't need to go over that again. Definitely as a Colossal Retaliator. Next up is a figure that I like, and I've seen various people use him to differing degrees, which is the Batman Superman robot. And the Batman Superman robot has a lot of value for a couple of reasons. Reason number one, if you have a wildcard team, you have access to both Batman TA and Superman TA. Not only that, he starts off at hypersonic speed, super strength, with an 11 attack, 4 damage, 18 defense. He is indomitable, so he can sort of just keep on going. You don't want him to take a hit. That's for sure. But you're not completely screwed if he does take a hit. He has a lot of good elements in his kit at 150. Now, some of you might say, but Dark Logos, why don't I run it as a Colossal Retaliator? You can. You can. But I don't think that that's the best investment in your points for what he does as a Retaliator, considering how much barrier is going to be in the game, and it currently is in the game. Even with Ego Prime running around, Kool-Aid Man in the whole map, creating, antibodies and stuff, I do not think that the Batman Superman robot is the best thing to have on your team to deal with the barrier problem. So that's a key element. But I do like it at 150. And again, for venues running Golden Age, Justice Zephyret. Justice Zephyret. Play him with Justice Zephyret. Force multiplier. Justice Zephyret. Best force multiplier in the game. Almost of all time. Ugh. Dang it, I think of all time. I don't think there's well, Mole Man's close. Mole Man's close. Mole Man is definitely close. But yeah, Justin Zephyret. Next up is Champion Pool. Now this is a rich man's character. Now why am I looking at Champion Pool? Well, number one, he is Cosmic Keyword, but there's also another reason I'm looking at Champion Pool. And no, Lucas, I did not rip off this analysis from you in chat completely. But the idea is this, is that him coming in at his point value at 175 points, he's able to call in all of the good ID cards. He just is. And you're able to maintain your Cosmic Theme team. And he's really good. If you have access to multiple panels from the other Deadpool chases, he can get really formidable really quick. Now, the problem that I have with him is after his first click, he really can't be carried due to Battle Fury. And he also has some other elements in his kit that try to give him steroids, like, oh, look, you do more attack and more damage. But it's that gateway problem. It's like, oh, I can't, no one else can attack. Oh, gateway, I can carry your whole team. Turns over, though. It's like, no, gateway. That's why no one will play you, because you end the turn once you carry anybody. And that... Oh... All right, so deep sigh, let it go, let it go, let it go. All right, but yeah, overall, you can see there's a lot of great things in his kit, mainly once he gets to the flurry clicks. Definitely click number 4. And you could say click number 4 and 5 are pretty much his, like, sweet iced tea clicks. You know, the type that gives you the diabetes. But what he really needs is access to something that's going to give him charge. So if you still have like Hulk ID and Wonder Woman ID, those two IDs will help him out greatly. All right, let's keep going. Mistress Death. I don't even need to explain this. We're going to see this chick. Like, let's not pretend. We are going to see this chick around. And all things considered, she's probably one of the few cosmic characters that you can also play another major cosmic character at higher points with. and still have a theme team. And I could easily see it's like, oh, I have Big Point Cosmic Aspect. Then I have Mistress Death with Mjolnir. Then I have one or two, whatchamacallits, Skyscraper Wonder Womans, and a Flora Colossus, and that's my team. And that's easily, you know, +5 or +4, depending on your points. That's not a bad, you know, sort of idea in general. But when I look at this, you know, I have to be honest with myself, is if you told me almost, you know, a little over a year ago that Mistress Death was going to be meta, I would have said you're high. And actually, I think I did say you're high. I said I liked her, but I think she needed charge. And I think even if she got charged, I you know, and Mjolnir never came out, or Mjolnir just gave you charge, I think she would have been a meta piece. But the fact that Mjolnir gives her freaking punch from 1,000 miles away, yeah, she's here to stay until she retires. All right, next up is Flora Colossus. And the main reason I am showing you not the full point of Flora Colossus, but this 300-point Flora Colossus, is for a particular reason. And that reason is, more than likely, you're going to get around here once you power up the Flora Colossus, if they don't kill it immediately. And this is the issue that I found every time with Flora Colossus. Do you waste your time, like if this heals 1, do you waste your time to double tap something for 10 points or leave it alone? If you leave it alone, it potentially can keep just getting worse for you. So do you go after it? If not, this can you can easily hit this 100-point range right in here. These clicks 11 and 12. You can easily hit that. Okay, and your opponent is functionally in a little bit of trouble. Okay, and the main reason I say they're in a little bit of trouble because you have charge. Okay, that's why they're in trouble. And you still have giant reach. You have a okay attack. And you have okay damage. You are not in the best of conditions when it comes to attack and damage, but you're okay. So that's what I want to, you know, sort of bring your attention to. I don't want to get your hopes up of you getting all the way to full dial, but just seeing this general scope of what you're more than likely going to operate in, then yeah. Yeah, Flora Colossal is definitely on the map. All right. So let's go ahead and go on. Unimine. Really don't need to say much more. He's here. I mean, Thanos is going to buff him. Star Fox can buff him. I mean, we don't even know which other Eternals are coming out. Like, there could be more Eternals. So, he's just going to get stupider. So, yeah, that's the grand enemy that we're going to have to deal with for a while. Next up is Grandmaster. Now, I talked about this Grandmaster previously and how I sort of enjoyed him because you can shift your dial and pick various things. And I think this was the prototype for Lockjaw before they made Lockjaw. And they're like, you know, we need something that's sort of supporty. You know, could do, you know, I don't want him to do anything. I just want him to be supporty. And, you know, Jeff Goldblum just delivers on that. But let's look at him real quick. Holographic Projector. Grandmaster's actions don't count against your action total. His combat values can't be modified. And he takes a minimum 1 damage from a ranged attack. Okay, so, but here's the thing, buddy. It didn't say the combat values can't be replaced. Yeah, that's a big thing. Your combat values can be replaced. So do keep that in mind. I'm not saying, you know, there's other characters out there that would potentially, you know, create very, very interesting combinations, you know, such as Cypher by chance. But if you so choose to go down that route, who's really to stop you? Maybe when you just prod everybody to play Sinister Syndicate and Batman Enemy. Just saying. There could be characters that allow you to grant yourself other powers or swap stats. Just saying. Just throwing ideas out there. So then you have Master Manipulator at the beginning of your turn. You may turn Grandmaster to another click. If you do, at the end of your turn, roll a d6 and turn Grandmaster to that click number. He can't be healed in any other way. Now, this part, it's risky because if you roll a 5 or a 6, your opponent's going to punk you and kill you. You roll a 1 or 2, you're probably safe. But that's a question. I hate to say it, this is one of those few times you really just want to roll low. All right. Next up, we have Kid Gladiator. Now, I would say you want to play Kid Gladiator at 120. And then I know some of you might say, Edward, you said X-Men's time is gone. And I'm like, yeah, it really is. Kid Gladiator is an X-Men. Is X-Man. Yeah, because singular would be proper instead of plural. He is an X-Man. But, even though he is an X-Man, you're really not going to play him on an X-Men team. You're going to play him on a cosmic team. And I would argue that he would be best with low point cosmic entities because you want him doing all the damage and stuff. You want him killing people. All right, you want. I almost am tempted to say that you want him with Ego Prime. So Ego Prime. So that Ego Prime can create the antibodies, blow out some walls for you, blow out that barrier, create situations where all these little minions pop up and they're running interference for you. And I think that's a bigger deal than, just having him, punch for you. But having those little guys like set up characters to kill and you just stack upon stack upon stack your bonuses, I think that's a really big thing. Also, again, with Ego Prime out there, killing a couple of minions could get you really buff and stacked real quick. So that's something else to be mindful. Also, if you are a Phoenix Force lover, Phoenix Force would be really useful on him as well. Give him access to like Range Combat Expert would be really nice. So he starts off like from range doing like a 13-5. I mean, sorry, not 13-5. Being a 12-5 or a 13-4 or 11-6. And definitely if you have some outwits and stuff, you can, at 11-6, you can one-shot a lot of characters that are that are going to be coming out. Which is also sort of sad, is that in a world where you have outwit, to create a situation where clicks of health are so low, and try to make characters super power rich, you're not balancing out the damage output. The damage and the clicks of health have to be at a certain pace, and unfortunately they are not. But that's just my observation for right now. Alright, next up is, of course, Balls of Fury. And you can't forget that he is Cosmic Theme Team. Cosmic keywords. You just can't. He's going to be all over the place with cosmic entities until he retires. And he's just going to be that frustrating. So, yeah, everybody knows what Balls of Fury does, so we'll just keep moving on. Alright, next up is Lockjaw. And the main reason that we're going to look at Lockjaw is, yes, he's expensive. Yes, he is really annoying. But for the people that have it, he's going to start to matter. And depending on what your venue has did or tried to do with WizKids Opens, you know, there may or may not be one floating at your venue. So let's look at it real quick. All right, so first off, we have okay powers. We really want to roll, when we roll our dice, we want to land on 1 or 2. 5 and 6 if things are bad. 5 or 6 or if things are really, really bad. Because we always can pick outwit. We can always pick support. I'd rather have prob and support than be on my last click and have support and prob. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's the situation I'm looking at, because having running shot, pulse wave, and prob, yeah, I can do more than that, more with that, or even hypersonic speed precision strike. I can do more with that. I really can't do a whole lot with support. And then hey, I get one infinity token back. Okay. I got one infinity token back, and I'm at risk of dying. Let me get the heck up out of here. Woof, woof. But yeah, click 1 is great. So let's go through his traits. The will of a dog to guide infinity. So is infinity blind then? Is it blind to the fact? Well, anyway, Lockjaw starts the game with 6 infinity tokens. When Lockjaw would take damage, instead remove an infinity token. When he has no infinity tokens, he is KO'd. He isn't a standard character, and he can't be equipped or a pilot. Protected pulse wave. Now, real talk, be really glad that they said that he can't be a pilot. Just saying. Because he would be the #1 pilot for that Tony Stark flying car. Like, the #1 pilot. With those stats, oh yeah, if you just let me have running shot pulse wave with that car, yeah, that's it. Running shot prob, 11 attack, 4 damage, yeah, I'll take that. Alright, next up is Infinity Collar. Free. Choose a standard power and enroll a D6, sorry. Then turn Lockjaw's dial to that click number, and he can use the chosen power until your next turn. So if you choose a standard power that is now displayed, also modify Lockjaw's combat values by +1 until your next turn, or his dial is clicked. Okay. So if he takes damage, he'll lose his buff. But being able to, again, pick a power and then having a buff if you pick a power that you're going to get anyway is pretty good. Now, if we're looking at Lockjaw realistically, I would say this. He's going to show up because he's flexible. You have every incentive to always pick prob. You have every incentive to always pick perplex. You really don't have an incentive a lot with the upcoming sets to constantly be picking outwit. Okay, and I really want to emphasize that, because again, with more Power Cosmic coming out, is outwit gimped? Not really, but its play sort of goes back to how it was. It's like, when there's not a lot of quintessence in Power Cosmic, outwit is ridiculously strong. When there's a lot of Power Cosmic and and quintessence floating around, it goes down. It goes down a lot. And so the question comes in is how much of the game is going to revolve around Power Cosmic and quintessence characters. And I would argue at this stage and going into the next few months, we're going to end up in a very heavier, we're going to be in a heavier realm of the use of Power Cosmic. And so outwit isn't going to be as good. It's still going to be good for you to deal with a lot of other stuff, but it's not going to be as good. And so the question comes in is, all right, this is our status, so is that going to wash over the impact of outwit and how really strong it is and make people forget about it? I don't know. But it will have unintended consequences. Alright, so there is one last character that I have forgotten about, and that's Beta Ray Bill. And the main reason I forgot about Beta Ray Bill is that when I made up my list, he's like, there's Unimind like right here, and then you see Mangog, and then you're like, oh, and you just completely forget about Beta Ray Bill. But yeah, I don't see 225 Beta Ray Bill being the man. I really don't. And the main reason I don't see that happening is there is just too much other stuff in Infinity that makes 225 Beta Ray Bill look like a punk. And because of that, I don't know what to say. Now, again, someone's going to say, like, Edward's making fun of Patrick. I'm not making fun of Patrick. What I'm saying is that with everything that's coming out, even with the freaking, lightning cloud that he has, surrounded him, there are going to be a lot of elements that are going to be able to come up and get and touch him up close and personal. And there's enough damage output that he can take through various means that's going to just take him right past his impervious. And starting with invulnerability is a bad situation. I get it. Dial design can screw you over. But when you start talking about 125 point beta, that dude is going to be around all day. Like, he is going nowhere. And I don't see anything that's really going to change the fact of how potent he was. And one thing that I really regret is, like, during October, I told Patrick, I really like Beta Ray Bill. Too bad he won't be meta because of Muir. And he sort of shook his head and agreed slightly. I won't say he gave me the side eye or anything, because he didn't. But I was wrong. 125 point beta has proven to be strong because he's more accessible than an extremely high point Muir. Even though his rarity, even though his rarity is just as high as that Thor. So what does that mean? Well, let's look at it. If we go into a basic economic situation, even though you can have equal goods and they're just as rare as one another, if one's cost more than the other, then even though their availability is the same, you're going to end up seeing more people go to the cheaper resource. Definitely, even if the cheaper resource still has some level of value. Just because something's more expensive does not necessarily mean that more people are going to pay for it. And that's something I've learned in heroclix is, oh, look, this is the hard counter, or this is the best piece right now. But its rarity is ultra mega chase, sell your soul and the souls of your family to get it type level rarity. And that one character rules them all, like the One Ring. And if it's that hard to get versus, yo, I got to throw $100 at this. Okay, that $100 character will show up over the soul sucking character. It's just the way it is. Some things will never change. So that's how I look at it. So going on, that's my roundup going forward, looking at our new cosmic meta overlords that are coming from deep space. To talk to us and teach us the ways of truth and enlightenment and everything else, and mainly cosmic war. So yeah. All right. So let's go on to today's map. We're looking at Muir Island, and we're gonna break out the pink this time, hot pink. All right, and we're gonna draw freehand. There we go. Don't want to draw blocks. So, oh, okay, I thought I clipped my image. I'm like, wait a second. So, there's a couple of things for us to note with this. I really want to start this off right. Our top of the key, we have our water over here. The bottom of the key, the water is over here, and right through there. There, okay. So the water doesn't affect the starting line for the top of the key. The water does affect the bottom starting line for the bottom of the key. Now this is why this is big. If you have an effect that benefits you from occupying water terrain, floor colossal, feel me, okay? Being at the bottom of the key actually matters more. Matters a whole lot more. Because you can immediately get into water terrain from your starting area and you're just there. You take a like side step back. Now if you go up here in the top, yeah, water terrain is right there, but it's not as abundant. Okay, and definitely if you have a lot of effects that like start powering you up in water terrain, like you know, that this area over here is far away versus this very accessible area right in here. Okay, so now turning off my 2-year-old mode. I'm no longer insulting. Wouldn't be insulting my nephew. He's 3 now. Hold on, let me see. Oh crap! I'm on map layer. Oh, lessons. This is it's like dark logos. Take 3. Take 3. All right. So let's just get rid of all this. Nope, I thought it was on map layer. There we go. Okay, so as I, clean up and yep, okay. Clean up this. There we go. All right. I wonder how what's that painting guy? The ASMR fluffy afro dude. I forgot his name. Bob Ross. No, that's not Bob Ross. Bob Ross is like a restaurant chain. Anyway, I don't see how he did all that freehand stuff live. There's too many problems that can happen. All right, so immediately we can see like there's a distinct advantage for being in the bottom of the key. Not only that, because that water is down here at the bottom, that also extends our starting area by 1 more, even though, look, we have abnormal starting areas. Okay, and so because of that, we are technically, I think this is the closest both parties have been to each other from a starting line perspective in a long time. I think the only ones that were closer, there was some like Buddhist temple map that was not drawn right back, like what was it, Streets of Gotham period, and then you had like the Rainbow Bridge or something where the map was cut in half. So this technically is like for the most standardist play without needing erratas or corrections. I think this is the closest map that we have to being close to one another like this. So here's the thing. What did the designer do to compensate for the closer starting areas technically? The designer said like, well, we're just going to put all this junk here. And so you have to navigate the junk, so it artificially inflates the sense of distance in the map. Now, I would say is that if we're artificially creating a sense of distance in the map by using, walls and blocking terrain, the first thing that we have to come to a conclusion on is this. That with the amount of terrain and how much it takes to navigate it, am I really expelling more energy traveling or not? Am I realistically spending more energy traveling or not? So let's just mark a path. Let's just say I go here. All right. So starting from, this square right here in F21, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we traveled 8 squares. Normally, if we travel, 8 squares, we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can see I would be closer, if I went just in a straight line, I would be closer towards my opponent. And so me spending a little bit of energy at the beginning, I'm still very close to my starting area. I'm not even at the 50, mark line, 50-yard line. And I'm having to probably do more to get to various points of the field. So again, let's just say I want to try to get over here. Then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I'm pretty much adding 2 more steps or 2 more squares onto my movement just to go from there to there. Okay, now that's a very, very high inflation. 2 squares is a very high inflation. You're spending a lot more energy to get a lot less results. So that's a problem. All right, now let's look at the opposite end. Okay, so let's look at the top of the key. All right, if I want to go down 8 squares, starting here, I just need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like there's nothing really obstructing me from just going from point A to point B. Okay. All right, there's nothing really stopping that. All right. And so as long as it's on this little area right in, this little chunk of the map, this little quarter of the map, this way over, there is no energy penalty. So it does not behoove the person that's at the bottom of the key to go over that way. Okay, because your opponent is getting more movement value than you are. Okay, so that it just doesn't make sense. Okay, so I know some people would say, it's like, Edward, does that automatically mean that the top of the key is better? No, it does not. And here's why. All right, so I don't know why it's defaulting onto the squares instead of the freehand. But, all right, so we start looking at it. And again, we're starting back here. And we want to try to get to here to start an attack. Okay, so we can already see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is a big disparity. That is a big disparity. Okay, so for me to try to get to this part of the map, I'm just getting over there. I'm spending a lot of movement. Because again, we're looking at our average movement being somewhere between 7 and 10. If it's over 10, then we're looking at a character that has an abnormally high movement. Those are our averages, 7 through 10. 10 is really a lot. As much as we see it, 10 really is the high end of the average movement. Once you start hitting 11, 12, 13, and 14, you're dealing with most of the hypersonic speeders and characters that just have like marathon-like abilities. And even then, some of those you don't even see them having that type of range. Like once you hit 12, you're a speedster. 12 movement, you're a speedster. 9 times out of 10, you're a speedster. Speedster or like a colossal. And even then, you have to be like a freaking Galactus type guy. Anyway, so going back. So having to hit this spot here from the top of the key takes a lot more energy. Okay, hitting here is not as bad. You still have really good energy returns. Okay, so when you only have 3 points that you're going to, which is over here, over there, and over here. I went right to left. that's really not bad. That's really not bad from an approach perspective. Now, the bottom of the key really is in a bad spot. And here's why the bottom of the key is in a bad spot. Because the bottom of the key can go in here, which really is not that huge of a difference. It can matter if you're trying to make the top of the key expel more energy. Live somewhere in this corridor here. Okay. Be here, or be out there. Okay. Just going out to sea. You know, all that jazz. Okay. Now, the bottom of the key has more defensive places to hide. So if you have a barrier team, it's better for you to be at the bottom of the key than the top of the key. Okay, but also if you have a barrier team and you pick this map, no. You done messed up, man. You done messed up. Alright, so let's get rid of all this. Just looks like, again, I did just draw circles all over the place. So, all right. So, what are we extrapolating so far? Which is, if we're talking about standard movement, this map makes you spend more energy unless you have something which I'm about to address, which is improved movement. Ignores blocking. And so because of the way it's set up, like fast deployment, if you have TK and it's all great, the top of the key is super strong. So we can call the top of the key our aggro starting area. Bam. That's some grade A paint art right there. And then we can call the bottom of the key our defensive starting area. Okay. Now, again, it matters depending on what your setup is for your team and what you're going against. Because I'm betting more than likely you didn't pick this map. Okay. Now, I will say this. There is a reason to pick this map, and the reason to pick this map is if you have a character that just says, screw it all, I'm going to just Kool-Aid Man this sucker. Like, I'm going to say, oh yeah. And you're looking at, like your Skyscraper Wonder Woman's and your Colossuses. Cannonball is another one. I think the upcoming Nova is, I think he also has improved movement, destroys target blocking. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think he does. I'm going off the top of my head. For a figure, I like Nova. So, from Annihilation Wave and the Phalanx saga thing that they had, like, I just loved him. He was a great character. But yeah, anyway, I digress. So let's go, and again, from a Kool-Aid Man's perspective, what are you doing? If you're at the top of the key, you're TKing the Kool-Aid Man right here, right in here, or right here. That's your goal. That's your goal, is to get the Kool-Aid Man in one of those three spots. If you are at the bottom of the key, this is going to sound weird. You want him in here, right here, or right there. And I know most of y'all are like, hold up, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. And actually, it needs to be down here. My bad. All right, now let's break it down a bit. At the top of the key, when I TK him out, I want to have as much buffer barrier as I possibly can. Because when I charge my 5 movement, I want to be able to land in here and then hit you right in there. Okay? That's what I'm saying when I TK there. If I TK here, I'm going to bust through and hit you in this room here, or hit you in this zone here. Okay? That's where I'm going. All right. If I'm in this area here, I'm going to there as well, or in here. Okay? That's where I'm going. Okay, hitting here is going to be insanely hard. There's just too much movement. Okay, now let's pretend that last one didn't happen. There we go. Getting better at this. All right, so now you're going to ask, all right, so what about the bottom of the key? Well, the bottom of the key has similar logic. I say similar. It's not exactly the same logic. Because you can't TK into position, you're going to have to get carried there. Because, again, like, if you can TK through this, you have some magic special power that I'm not aware of quite yet. People in the future, hello, thank you. Do we have flying cars yet? I don't think so, but who knows? This internet, this could be out here for a while. All right, so anyway, if we look at down here, all right, and we start asking ourselves some big questions. All right, so let's start here. What are we trying to do if we're parked in here, in this area here? And that's easy. We're trying to get somebody once they enter in, into the laboratory or whatever it is. That's it. We're just going up. Okay, we can't hit the outside. Okay, we got to make that clear. We can't hit the outside. But our goal is to try to minimize as much destruction, to try to keep this area as safe as possible. Okay, I'm going to pick a different color. Let's just go with black. Yeah, we want to keep this area here as safe as possible. All right. Then, if we're down here, our main goal is to use this wall here and then Kool-Aid Man into this general area here, or if they're really bold with it, into that area there. But more than likely, if they're in there, they've already blown the wall out through some shenanigans and they're shooting you. Okay, so you're more going to hit this center area. Now, if you're here, you're at this third area here. Your only reason that you're there is because they've already flanked like over there or over there. If they flank down here, do not go there. Do not go there. That's not good planning, because you're more likely going to get attacked first. All right. So when it comes to, in terms of like threat reach, the top of the key has a clear advantage. It just does. The bottom key does not have as big of an advantage. Now, let's talk about auras, because auras matter. Okay, and shout outs to you, Seth, because he did this to me. So during the X-Men pre-release, I had Seth, he put Professor X right here. And I don't think he's a super rare. I think he's a rare. But anyway, Professor X was just able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take all the way from that. Just back. He pretty much just owned this block. And he just said to my team, screw you. Come at me, bro. And he had every right to. Like, some people might think I'm mad or something, but like he had every legit right to do that to me. But anyway, the main reason I was sort of coming back to this is that when you have some aura effects, and definitely with like all the upcoming sets and whatnot, remembering that this is indoor terrain in here and this is outdoor terrain in here, and that if you have an aura effect, you can be on the outside, penetrate people on the inside, or you be the inside, messing with people on the outside. And that distinctly can just change a game. And if you're going on the inside here, remembering immediately, like, boom, you can contain people with barrier that you couldn't contain people with before. So that's a huge deal. All right, so we're gonna get rid of all that. All right, so that's pretty much it for this map. I think looking at it, we've established real quickly that as asymmetrical as this map is, this map really is not good. There's too many clear advantages with the way standard play is for the top of the key. If you have a Kool-Aid Man, it's better for you. If you have TK, it's better for you. If you're aggressive whatsoever, it's just better for you. The only reason you want the bottom of the key is if you want to immediately get into water as fast as possible for some type of effect. And then maybe wanting to play some sort of barrier game. But even still, it's not the best map to do that on. So, yeah. I'm gonna be a little bit hesitant here. I'm gonna try to see if I can get on Twitch. You know what? Never mind. I don't think there's any comments or anything. I'm just really afraid that I'm gonna get that reverb real briefly. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. If you're out there listening to the stream, I definitely appreciate it. All the people that sub to me on the stream, I definitely appreciate it. I know I'm going to sort of be bombarding you all with content because I have this episode, and then I also have a special show for answering some questions from the man in Japan, because I recorded the show, and then when I went and I was going to upload it today and post, but the audio just died. Like, it didn't record any of the audio that I took. Even though like it shows you audio waves and stuff in Audacity, it was dead silent. So I had to take it down. So yeah. Alright, that's it for today's show. I'd like to thank you all for watching. You can follow me on Twitter at StartOverPod. It came from outer space and told me, man, you really, really, really need to talk to the aliens from Sector B12-339-587. They have the junior holodeck version where it simulates reality, but only for the first 3 feet. Could be fun. Could be fun. You can email me at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. That's startingoverpodcast@gmail.com if you wish to opine. Keep it simple, keep it pithy, keep it awesome, baby. Let me know what you think of the preview so far for Avengers Affinity. Is it making you hype for Infinity War, or is it making you question about where the game's going to go in the next, couple of months? You can... Oh, wow. It's like I forgot how to do the ending on my own show. Yeah. You can donate to the show at startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com. And you can check the link below if you want to get a Starting Over Podcast shirt. All right. Thank you for checking me out on Twitch. Again, you're more than likely watching this on YouTube. So every other Wednesday, not this upcoming Wednesday because this past Wednesday I streamed, but the following Wednesday I will be streaming again. And, just to try to build up another platform for us to, either live react with one another. And hopefully someone can teach me how to do this so I do not wreck my own stream. All right. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. And remember, we all have to start over sometime.